Good afternoon, everyone. We are back for the Better and Better podcast, Beyond the Stats. I'm Sherry Richards, Director of Member
All right.
Engagement at SPAR, and joining me today is Amanda Cox and Susan Mall. We'll be talking about the most recent available Twin Cities housing market statistics and also cover a bit about safety as realtors. Safety Month wraps up this week. Even though, as we all know, safety is important year-round. Absolutely. So thank you,
Yeah,
Amanda and Susan, for
for
joining
sure.
me today. Appreciate that.
Nice to
To be
have.
here. Thanks for having
Nice to
us.
be here.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
long have each of you been realtors?
Oh, I've been licensed since '06.
And
So like 17 years this month.
I've been licensed for a
You sure?
little over 11 years.
Okay. That's a lot of knowledge between the two of you. Great.
Hopefully.
Don't let it fool you. I've had some ciphers in between here.
Sure.
Between there.
Okay, well, you know what? Let's get right into the numbers today. So what we're seeing is that home prices rose modestly in August, with the median sales price increasing 2.7% to $389,900. Sellers continue to receive strong offers on average at 100% of their list price after 32 days on market. That said, both buyer and seller activity were lower compared to last year because many existing homeowners are choosing to stay put with their lower interest rate. Buyers are looking at new homes or considering other more affordable options, such as townhomes, although affordability can vary widely within that segment. What kinds of requests are you hearing from clients in regard to their housing wants and needs?
Sure. I'll start.
Wow.
A lot of buyers who were previously only considering single family homes have now moved into looking at townhomes, looking at areas a little further out just for the affordability factor. So just having to adapt because of what our market is doing.
Yes, I'm seeing the same thing. I'm seeing people looking at smaller homes, whereas before they were looking at bigger homes, they're going into something smaller, compromising. Whereas before they were looking into bigger things, they're looking for smaller, for affordability. That's what I'm seeing today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you guys hearing anything with the difference in the interest rates changing a little bit? I'm just kind of throwing this one out there at you guys. Sorry.
But a lot of people are looking at the interest rates too. A lot of them are like, oh, I want to wait for interest rates to go down too. And, with my rebuttal for that, I'm like, why don't you get the home that you like today versus waiting for interest rates to lower, because you can always refinance when rates do go down versus waiting. And some of them are kind of being receptive to that and deciding to get in the home. The light bulbs are starting to go off in their heads, like, oh yeah, I should get the home that I want now and refinance later, because now is a better time to buy, especially the markets are getting a little bit better. The prices are going down. They're seeing prices are lowering. So some of them are saying, oh yes, I should buy now. This is a good time to buy. And it will be okay to refinance later on. I spoke with a few people just yesterday and they are getting themselves together to be in that market, getting getting pre-qualified to get into that market. So I have a few people that I'm pre-approving to get into this market now. So this is what
I agree with
today.
Susan, and I've kind of counseled buyers who are concerned. They have the same concerns. Well, maybe I'll just wait until the rates come down. There's no guarantee that rates are going to come down. But if they do, there is going to be a flurry of buyers all flocking to these houses. So
Sure.
I'm saying, if rates do
Yeah.
come down, you're going to be in bidding wars, as buyers flock back into the market. If you lock into a rate today and rates do come down, you have the ability to refinance and lower your rate. If interest rates go up over the next couple of years, you're going to be stuck with those interest rates. So I'm kind of saying the same thing. It is a good time to buy.
Yes.
Great. That's
For sure.
great feedback.
Sure.
So let's talk about pending home sales or listings with accepted offers. They were down 10.5% compared to last August. Closed sales were down 11.6% overall, but townhomes had the smallest decline of any property type, while new home sales rose an impressive 33.2%. And then this figure includes pending status. We saw inventory levels shrink 11.8% to 8,111 units from a year ago. And while there's always a certain level of activity in the market because of family changes, economic reasons, or relocation, buyers without an urgency are cautiously considering budgets and monthly payments. What are you seeing with your clients in terms of their decision-making process, whether buying or selling?
I think what I'm seeing in the market is pretty right on par with these statistics. I have a lot of buyers. Most of my buyers are looking for previously owned single family homes. We see a lot of those requests, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2+ car garage, with a yard. And they're just not able to find what they're looking for right now because inventory is so low. The houses that are in great condition are still going in multiple offers and going for much higher than the asking price. And the houses that they are able to afford, a lot of times are fixer-uppers. They need some work, especially when we're talking about first-time home buyers. That amount of work to get those houses to a place where they feel they'll be comfortable living there is just really overwhelming for them. And I've had a lot of buyers kind of switch down that road to townhomes or condos because they're affordable options. Mostly townhomes because it does, the way townhomes are generally laid out, it feels more like a single family that has a separate entrance, less apartment style. But moving into that or new construction because there's less competition on both of those. When you get into new construction, you're not in bidding wars as often. So when you see a price, that's the price. When you see a price on a single family home, that's not necessarily the price of that home, once you get into that bidding war. So yeah, I've had a lot of clients head down that alley towards both new construction and townhome here.
Yeah, that's what I see also. And I see people with that are renting that are afraid to move out of that mindset. They're afraid to move because of interest rates. Like, what is rates today? They're scared to take that move. That's what I'm seeing too, versus what they're hearing on the news. They're hearing this and they're afraid to just take that step. So that's where the counseling comes in a lot, to counsel these people, to get them to realize that, it's okay to take that step into home ownership, especially like first-time home buyers or people who have been displaced and back into the rental, mindset, to get them out of that mindset into home ownership.
I think that's a great point, Susan, too. People who were previously renting kind of being afraid of those interest rates, like, whoa, I heard, hovering 7.5%. That's terrifying for us. But also just reminding them, that rents are increasing consistently. Rents are higher than they've ever been before. And when you're renting, you're paying 100% interest, with nothing to show for it at the end of the day. And when you're owning the home, 7% interest versus, 100% interest is quite a bit lower. So kind reminding them of that.
Exactly. And then they could in turn write off their taxes at the end of the year. That's a tax write off. So we have to keep reminding them
So
that
many,
as
so many
well.
benefits.
So
I
many
feel like,
benefits of homeownership. So yeah, there's a
right,
lot of
right.
counseling.
Yeah. There's so many benefits to homeownership. And I feel like, what was that commercial? Like, yeah, I'm not just the owner. I'm also a client or something like that. I'm not just a realtor. I'm also a homeowner and believe firmly in homeownership being the fastest path
So
to wealth.
yeah, exactly. It's one of the biggest things you have to do in your
Even
lifetime
at the
owning a home.
current interest rate.
Yeah. Yes. So
Great. Well, the balance between buyers and sellers has remained tight because both sales and listings have come down together. There were just over 8,000 active listings at the end of August. That needs to be closer to 20,000 to have a balanced market, which is typically 4 to 6 months supply. Let's pivot to Realtor Safety. Obviously, this is an important focus all year long. However, the National Association of Realtors places emphasis during September's Realtor Safety Month, which provides a great reminder to build an awareness around safety concerns, reassess office protocols, and focus on keeping your agents and your business as safe as possible. Tell me some of the safety protocol you've implemented in your own work. How do you keep safety in the forefront of what you do and modify how you stay safe in your work given a new environment or time of day? What do you guys do to stay safe?
So one of the things I do a lot is whenever I'm for sure when I'm doing open houses, I implement a buddy system. So I have a partner that I do open houses with. We go together all the time. So that's one of the things I do with opens. Whenever I'm going showing houses, I never walk in front of anyone. I always let them in first, and I never follow them. I let them go in front, and I always follow them. I never go in front of them. I let them in, and I stay back and let them go view the property. And I just ask questions that they come back out, especially if I don't know them at all. I've not really had a conversation, like been counseling or been, talking to them for a long period of time. I just let them go. Even if I've spoken with them for a good while, I don't really know them per se. I always let them just go through the house and, then talk to them later and see what they say. I never ever go in front of them. Always let them go first. Then give me feedback afterwards. So that's some of the things I do.
Great. Well,
what do you do with my?
I have pepper spray I keep in my purse, and then for last resort,
in my purse,
but then also other things that I do, just making sure that when I'm parking my car, that I'm not trapped in. I don't pull into a driveway or anything where they can pull in behind me. Just so I always have an escape route if I need one. If it's in the evening, just trying to park fairly close to the property in a well-lit area. Other things, buddy systems are really big. So if I'm meeting a client for the first time, I always ask them where they heard about me. Most of my clients are referrals or friends and family, but I do have some leash on where I do get clients that I've never met before. So I always ask them how they heard about me, and usually try to meet them in a public place the first time we're meeting. So instead of meeting at the house, the very first time we'll meet either at my office or at a busy coffee shop in a public place, at least, so I can kind of get a feel. I do always feel that you should trust your gut, your gut instinct. There's this gut-brain connection that science is proving more and more to be this legitimate thing where your brain sends signals to your stomach. So when they say trust your gut, your brain is actually sending things to your gut. So I'm a firm believer in that. Other things that I do is if I'm meeting a client for the first time at a house, I have a call system that I implement where I have a trusted colleague or my significant other, and I have them call and check in with me at about 5 to 10 minute increments, and they have the address that I'm at. If I don't answer my phone, if they're, I usually pick some kind of secret word. I say the secret word, that means I need help. But if I don't answer my phone, then they're instructed to call the police and give them the address that I'm at. So that's that. Fortunately, that I've never had to have them call the police, but it's something that makes me feel a lot safer. And just that they know where I am, and I just feel more protected.
Yeah. Yeah. And I try also not to do too many showings after, it shouldn't dark when it's very, very dark. It's very late in the evenings, especially someone I don't know, So there's some of those, safety tips I do when it's getting really dark, certain time of the year when it's dark early. I try to do my showings early in the day. So those are some of the tips I work by. Plan your showings early so it doesn't go too late, So yeah, some of the things I work around.
Yeah, Susan, you mentioned walking behind people, and I actually happened to stop by an open house the other day just because I was curious. I drove by a sign and I was like, hey, I'm going to go check that one out just because. And I did, and I was walking. I walked upstairs, and I didn't know that the person had followed me upstairs. I mean, I should have known, but I didn't. And I turned around, and I was surprised because he was right behind me. And so I didn't, it was, carpeting on the steps, and I didn't hear him behind me. So I'm just going to say because in that instance, I would have been the consumer. And so from the other perspective, it would have been good if he had said something to me, because I was just surprised. It caught me off guard as a consumer in that situation, because I was the one just checking things out, right? So it would have been good just for him to have said, oh, hey, blah, 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 give me a bit of information about the property or something, just so that I was aware where he was and he was aware where I was. Just
exactly. That's scary. You'd have been, right up on you. That's like really scary. I don't like people sneaking up on you.
That wasn't the intent, but the safety works both ways.
I know, but it's scary. Exactly.
Kind of on that same note with open houses, I think there's, I think Susan, you had mentioned the buddy system at open houses. I think that's really great. If you are ever doing open houses without a buddy, just making sure that you're positioned in a place in the house where you have multiple exits if you have to get out quickly. I've done open houses alone where I've had somebody on the phone with me the whole time, just sitting quietly on the phone in case I needed them, just for my own peace of mind when I couldn't have someone with me. And then just making sure that you're kind of keeping eyes on the exits and who's entering and who's exiting. I've heard things about people coming into an open house and hiding in different places in the home. Tell everyone.
Yeah. How about they come in and close the door behind them while you're not watching?
Yeah, so just making sure you're kind of keeping those eyes on who's entering and who's exiting, and then that you always have an escape route behind you. But yes, Susan, I agree with you. If you can have a buddy system at an open house, I think that's the safest bet.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, awareness is key. There was a broker named Janet Judd who served as the 2022 chair of the Realtor Safety Advisory Committee and is a former police officer. Janet said that through her work with Realtor Safety, what stands out most is that members don't understand the risks. She says people are surprised to learn that the Department of Labor has officially declared real estate to be a high-risk occupation. That surprises me.
Yes. It doesn't surprise me. I've always known that.
I agree with Susan. It is something that in my past life, I worked, downtown Minneapolis and in restaurants and nightclubs, and it was kind of ingrained in us to always be on high alert when we would walk, out to our cars in the evening, or anytime we would exit our place of employment. When I got into real estate, I kind of took that with me, where it was like, okay, we're entering into a house that's been vacant for a year, and it just to be on high alert, like what could be in this house, and how do I protect myself as I'm going into this situation. Same thing with open houses, and especially not to pull the gender category, but especially as a woman, I think that we have to be a little bit more cautious, being in houses alone, just in the fact that sometimes we're looked at as more vulnerable. So, just kind of always being on high alert.
Yeah. My past life, I worked in banks, and we were trained how to look for suspects, people who to rob the banks or whatever, and how to assess people and keep an eye out for, different heights, different this, different the other. And that's how I look at everything. When I looked at someone, I could tell your height. I could look at you and I could already know everything about that person. So that is how I look at everything. When I walk into an open house and I see someone, my eyes already look at everything. And so I go in like that. I go in like a situation. It's not already assessing you. So, so that's how I look at it. So safety for me is always key. So I always know this is a really dangerous job. People look at it as glamorous. It's a job. It's not glamorous. We all get paid. We have to get paid because it's a job. Okay. People think, you get so much. No, we don't. We work. It's a job for us, just as your job is a job for you. And we have to get paid because we do.
It's not job. All selling sense.
Okay. So, and it's not glamorous. I spoke with someone not too long ago, and they wanted to get into real estate and asked me, what do you think about me getting into real estate? I had to explain to her that they never told that to me. I said, yeah. And you have to pay dues. They were trying to get into it to save some money from even the buy side. I'm like, you're trying to save money, but do you know you have to pay your dues also? Really? Nobody told me that. I'm like, what do you think? It's free? No, you have to pay your dues, and you have to pay monthly, quarterly, annual. You save $10,000, but then you spend that money back if you don't continue to pay it. You have to continue to make it in order to pay it. Oh, I didn't know that. I'm like, I would love you to come and join me as a realtor, but you got to pay to keep this going.
It's a business.
It's not free.
It's absolutely a business.
It's a business, exactly. So saving this.
Yeah, back onto our statistics about safety. 60,000 realtors have been victims of violent crime, including assault, rape, robbery, and even murder. So that's why being aware is so important and the first step towards keeping members safe. So what is your process with a prospective client, and how do you ensure that you feel safe? We kind of touched a little bit on some of these, but...
Yeah, I think going back to kind of what I previously said, just trying to find out how they know me. Like I said, majority of my clients are people that I already know, of their referrals, their friends, their family. And in that case, I don't know if it's a false sense of security, but sometimes I let my guard down a little bit. But anytime it's somebody that I don't know, just finding out how they found out about me. And if it sounds suspicious, just make sure that I have someone else with me when I go to meet them for the first time. So meet them at my office, meet them at a coffee shop. If I am meeting them at a home, my significant other is actually also a realtor, so there's been times that I bring him with on a first showing just to make sure that I feel safe and comfortable. And if not, just keeping my phone on. I feel like my phone is a lifeline as well. So I'll just be like, hey, can you just stay on, just on speaker quietly while I'm, meeting with this person? And after 5 minutes, if everything sounds fine, just hang up. Just kind of having that, that kind of help call out, I think is a good safety tip.
Mhm. Yeah, but we shouldn't take it for granted. That's true. I have been targeted twice while at this job, so it's a bit scary. But I love my job because I said I love people. I love helping people and seeing them, the satisfaction I get from getting them into a home. That is my reward. So I don't let that fear of early on stop me from doing my job. But it is quite scary what happens and what occurs. So at one point someone tried to get me to was supposed to sell at my house, but what they mentioned and stuff like that, I was like, you know what, I really can't help you, and it made me almost leave. But I decided, no, this is what I want to do. This is my job, but I didn't let that scare me away. But yeah, they target you, and you just have to be careful. And as you say, your gut feeling, go by your gut feeling, and don't let one scare you away or two scare you away. Just go by your gut feeling. So
Right.
yeah, me too was a target of a couple of these jerks.
So you guys have mentioned some of the most common ones. And realtors say that they chose to meet new or prospective clients at their office or in a neutral location 66% of the time. And similarly, 73% of realtors have personal safety protocols in place that they follow with every client. It's also highly recommended to have the buddy system, like we talked about, so that agents can watch out for each other, and emergency code words. So those are all great tips. While maybe not surprising, more female realtors, 76%, have been safety protocols into play compared to their male counterparts at 67%. So what do you consider your number one safety tip? And what is a safety precaution you follow now that you wish you'd known when you were starting out?
Don't put people in the car.
Number one safety tip.
Number one safety
The
tip.
safety tip.
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead.
I would
You
have
do
to
it.
say just the phone call in 5-minute increments. That has really changed how safe I feel when I'm with people. Just knowing that if I don't answer, that help is going to come. So being in a house, having somebody call me every 5 minutes, just making sure that's a very trusted person, and they're going to do what they say they're going to do, and then having the address that I'm going to be at, so they know where I am. They know if I don't answer that I'm in trouble.
Yeah. I have my husband call me whenever I'm out showing a house, and he calls to see, make sure I'm okay. So he calls me.
Somebody reliable checking up on you.
He does.
Yeah.
For sure. I have that in play.
What is a safety precaution you follow now that you wish you would have known starting out? Or is that the same? I mean, is that what it is?
That's the same thing. Yeah, that's what I've always done.
Yeah, I mean, I guess one of the biggest things is just not to meet someone that you've never met before alone. That would be my number one, tip that I could have given myself starting out is don't worry about being polite. Don't worry, about saying the right thing. Don't worry about losing a client. Your safety is more important. So if you don't feel safe, feel free to exit the situation. If people have a problem with you bringing someone on a first showing, you know, then maybe they're not the right clients for you, because we do this day in and day out, and our safety is important. We're not working in an office building with security. You know, we're out in the streets. We're out, you know, in different neighborhoods all over the metro area, you know, and beyond. So our safety is a priority.
Yes, our safety is a priority, especially as safe for women. Our safety is a priority. So bring someone with you if you have to.
I absolutely love that tip. The next question was actually, what safety tip do you have for new agents that they should definitely know?
Oh,
and I think that one falls perfectly into that answer, you know, because someone's safety isn't worth it. If your gut is just going off and saying, hey, there's something not right about this situation, you're not going to get that. Transaction's not going to close if you're not there to close it anyway. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Don't do it alone. It's not all about the money. It's about your safety.
Yeah, that's a,
you know, you need to get out of there.
Great.
Yeah.
That's great, because you can excuse yourself from this situation and do it diplomatically, and the transaction can still come together, you know?
Right, for sure.
So.
Right. As long as it's legitimate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
I think,
exactly.
you know, with us being kind of public figures as well, our photos are out there, you know, and sometimes we're targeted for what we look like. Or, you know, I've had multiple people call saying that they want to buy a house. They never had any intention of buying a house. So it is kind of one of those situations where if you're suspicious, ask for proof of funds, ask for, oh, you're a cash buyer, you know, for a $5 million property and you found me online. You know, like if it feels a little too good to be true, it probably is. And you don't have to throw that away in case it is a legitimate lead.
With fall in the air and the word snow in the future, now may be a good time for all members to start gathering items for a car safety kit for winter. That's always another good one. Is there anything else that either one of you would like to add today?
Just thank you for having us on today, and thank you for bringing awareness to realtor safety. It's such a big, important topic, and I just thought that we have kind of a month dedicated to safety awareness for realtors, and I hope people are able to take some of the safety tips and use them in their own lives to be a little bit safer.
Susan, Amanda, thank you both for your time. We appreciate you sharing your wisdom and your knowledge with us. This has been great.